So it looks like there is some bad news for Mike from Love Island, and this is not good and quite frankly very irritating. Hey guys, it's Murad Muradi. Hope you guys are doing well today. If you haven't already, click that button. It's just one click. Subscribe to my channel for daily and consistent content as much as I can, and hopefully all of you guys are doing well in this self-isolation quarantine kind of phase. Please do subscribe and let's get into this video. So it seems that Love Island star Mike will face a misconduct hearing next week following allegations of improper behavior when he was a police officer, despite the fact that he actually came out with a documentary interview expressing how he went through a lot as a police officer himself. It seems that he will be facing allegations of improper behavior for when he was a police officer, but the gag is the people that were doing all the madness to him aren't really facing allegations themselves. Peep that, because I find that to be interesting. The 24-year-old served with the Greater Manchester Police for 3 years before quitting to take part in the winter series of the show earlier this year. An investigation was carried out by the force's Professional Standards branch following allegations of improper conduct during his time as a PC. The allegations, made in 2018 and 2019, are said to include driving without a license. Boateng was also accused of telling a 17-year-old girl that he could show her a good time whilst in police uniform. The allegations came from Aaliyah Reid, now 18, that he asked for her number and instead took her Snapchat details during the alleged incident in Cheetham Hill in July 2018. He's said to have strenuously denied any wrongdoing, and the misconduct hearing is not thought to be related to that allegation at all. In a statement, GMP said a special case gross misconduct hearing will be held at Merseyside Police in relation to a GMP officer at 10 AM on Thursday, 16th of April 2020. And it is scheduled to last for 1 hour. The hearing will be held via video and audio link. Michael Boateng will answer allegations that their conduct amounts to a breach of the standards of professional behaviour for honesty and integrity and discreditable conduct contrary to the Police Conduct Regulations 2012. A GMP spokesperson would not comment on the nature of the allegations. Boateng previously claimed he'd been subjected to racist behaviour himself during his initial training with the force. It was also alleged that he'd been the victim of discrimination. The force said in January that 5 officers were dealt with as a result, but refused to say what action, if any, was taken against them. Very interesting. Mr. Boateng's agent and management said their client should be appearing on April 16th, but they wouldn't be issuing a statement at this time. So again, it's funny how the officers that were, being racist to him and very discriminatory to him have been dealt with, when really and truly nothing has really happened and they've just been moved to different sectors and apartments, whereas we have a whole misconduct hearing for him because he was driving without a license. Whereas we all know racism in workforces should be held to a far higher degree, yet those individuals, nothing is happening to them. Because there is a lack of infiltration when it comes to so many sectors and departments in societies today, especially in these workforces where we have such a white supremacy kind of controlling dominant atmosphere in the police kind of world, for sure, in many other sectors as well. And we have situations like this where the solution isn't really given. The problems are really amalgamated, manipulated and extrapolated into so many different sectors where they don't deal with the root of the issue. What they rather do is just move people to different sectors and don't really hold them accountable for their issues. But for someone like Mike Boateng, who for driving without a license, and this particular lady who said that she, whatever the hell she was saying, she was doing a whole photo shoot with the sun, doing a whole madness for no reason. This then leads to a whole new hearing that he has to deal with next week, especially during self-isolation period, which is why they're doing it via video link. The fact that they're taking this with such seriousness, but they haven't taken the other issues with such seriousness when they should have, is actually very irritating. It's frustrating, but it's not surprising, because this is how you balance the white racial equilibrium, where you don't hold accountable certain individuals when you should, but you hold other individuals accountable for situations that they aren't really even accountable for. He has denied them as well, and I feel like other situations should be dealt with far more severities, but they haven't, and that leads to the total opposite for situations that they don't need to be dealt with massive severities. And I just feel like it's just hilarious that people have been dealt with, but they haven't really been said what they've been dealt with. Why don't we keep the same energy? I don't understand. I feel like it's a grave problem, and it really, branches way out of Love Island. And, it's just another example of, everyday kind of racism to cover up infiltration of deep racism that takes place in societal kind of conditioned white supremacy environments that don't really have any kind of factors to try and tackle it. What people do is just do whatever they try to do to try and just equalize the white racial equilibrium that really takes place. And this is far more serious of this is a conversation that needs to take place. It needs to, you know, I'm just trying to bring awareness to this, because this is more than just Michael, and this is more than just Love Island, and this is more than just a typical Love Island video. This is actually a very serious video, and I feel like we need to think deeply about situations like this. And I will be following this story just to see what the results are, what takes place with the hearing, because clearly this is so, you know, I find it funny how this is something that, you know, we have many of these stories that take place, so many of these articles take place to provide ammunition for POC kind of, especially individuals, when it comes to islanders, for example. But then you have the Fiat 500 kind of girls who are plastered everywhere because they've posted a new picture of them in a bikini, or that's cute for them, or, you know, I just find it very interesting that the fragility is kind of masked in two different ways. For example, the fragility is for like Fiat 500 girls, for example, is masked as innocence, as masked as them being the damsel in distress, whereas the fragility for POC is normally magnified and it made them to be seen as a perpetrator as opposed to being the victim. And we can see them now. We have Love Island racism, which I feel like is heavily taking place, intertwined with police racism, intertwined with entertainment, newspaper kind of racism, all working together to try and enable this. So these are systems that need to be infiltrated massively, and I feel like these are conversations that we need to happen. This isn't just a Love Island channel. I know I talk about a lot of Love Island content, but I also talk about a lot of important issues today. Most definitely I do. So if you haven't put respect on my damn YouTube channel, then you better be putting respect on my damn YouTube channel, because I talk about a lot of interesting issues, just so many, and I have far more interesting videos to come. This isn't just Love Island coated, but I just want people, moral of the story is to take seriousness from this video. It's not just about tea, gossip, or any of that nonsense. It's not everyday tea, man. Sometimes talk about real world life situations and how so much shit happens in life, and I feel like this is another example, and it is just genuinely frustrating. Now, if Mike did something bad, I would personally hold him accountable. Although I liked him on the show, doesn't mean that I have to lick your ass. Doesn't mean that if you're not wrong, I'm gonna call you out. You know, everybody should be held accountable for their issues, for their actions, and justice should always be served, no matter who you are. Everybody is equal. Let me know your thoughts on when it comes to this. Let me know. Comment down below. I'm interested to read your comments. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I don't know what you guys are doing with your lives. Click that button. Stop returning to my videos without subscribing. And if you have subscribed, thank you. And if you haven't subscribed, don't be a waste man. Click that button, and I'll catch you guys soon for another video.